You've been living in a lie. Everything they told you about power, success, influence, it's sugar-coated fiction. They said work hard, be nice, stay humble, and life will reward you. But look around. Is that what you see? The world doesn't reward kindness. It exploits it. The world doesn't honor truth. It hides behind masks. And the powerful, they don't play by the rules, they write them. This video isn't just another motivational speech. It's a wake-up call. A fire lit under the illusions you've been sold since birth. We're going to dig deep not into fantasies, but into the real engine that runs this world. Control, image, silence, timing, dominance. This is not inspiration. This is transformation. And if you watch to the end, your view of life will never be the same again. Let's start with one brutal truth. Power is not evil. Power is neutral. It's the hand that holds the blade. It can protect or destroy. What makes it dangerous isn't the tool, it's the user. And history? It's full of people who learned how to use power before it used them. Niccolò Machiavelli didn't create the game, he exposed it. He studied what actually works, not what sounds noble. He showed that being feared, being strategic, controlling your image, these are not dirty tricks. They're survival skills in a world where wolves rule and sheep get slaughtered. So what's the first law of survival? Stop assuming the world is fair. It's not. It never was. And the moment you stop expecting fairness is the moment you start building real strength. Because now you're awake. Machiavelli wrote that fear is a safer bet than love. Why? Because love is optional, but fear is earned. Love can vanish with time, but fear, if used wisely, lasts. A ruler who is feared walks through fire untouched, because people hesitate before they betray what they fear, and don't fall for the lie that honesty always wins. Machiavelli warned, a prince never lacks legitimate reason to break his promise. That's not cruelty, it's reality. The world moves fast. The game changes. And if you're locked in by promises made in a different battlefield, you become your own prison. Perception is more powerful than truth. People don't follow truth. They follow what feels true. If you look like a leader, they'll believe you are one. If you act unshackable, they'll trust you with everything. So control your image like your life depends on it, because it does. History doesn't remember the honest man who died poor. It remembers the tactician who shaped the world, the ones who learned how to use silence, image, and fear as tools, not to destroy, but to survive and dominate. He stopped pretending and began observing, watching how power truly operated, not in theory, but in blood, betrayal, and strategy. He saw that the game wasn't about being liked, it was about not being removed. It wasn't about being right, it was about staying in the room when decisions were made. That's why The Prince wasn't a fairy tale. It was a survival manual for those who refused to die noble and forgotten. Machiavelli understood most people didn't want truth. They wanted comfort. They didn't want a good leader, they wanted a strong one. Someone who could promise peace and deliver control. Someone who could speak softly but strike without warning. And so he wrote what others feared to admit, that morality is a costume, worn for convenience, dropped when power is at stake. He warned, do not trust appearances, master them. Do not expect loyalty, buy it. Do not wait for power, create it. Because in the end, it's not about what's fair, it's about who wins. And power, real power, doesn't ask for permission. It doesn't beg to be accepted. It takes shape in silence, in strategy, in patience, in controlling not just what people do, but what they believe. Machiavelli wasn't just describing politics. He was describing life, the office, the negotiation table, the battlefield, the dinner party. Every interaction where humans compete for space, for control, for survival. And he knew the darkest truth of all, that the most dangerous person is not the one who shouts the loudest. It's the one who smiles while orchestrating your fall, the one who lets you think you're in control right until you're not. That's the Machiavellian genius. Power without noise. Domination disguised as cooperation. He didn't teach how to destroy others. He taught how to never be destroyed. He understood that to rule minds, you don't need an army. You need a story, a myth, a reputation so carefully designed that people police themselves in your presence. That's how kings are made, not by blood, but by belief. If people believe you are untouchable, you become untouchable. And if they believe crossing you is dangerous, they never will. Machiavelli exposed this. The perception of power is more powerful than power itself. That's why he taught rulers to be both lion and fox. The lion strikes, the fox escapes. One gives fear, the other gives illusion. But both are essential. A prince who is only strong gets crushed by cleverness. A prince who is only clever gets eaten by wolves. Survival means mastering both masks, being feared without hatred, being trusted without honesty, being followed without needing to lead. Because when you build power correctly, it doesn't require force. It pulls people toward you. That's what makes it addictive. That's what makes it invisible. Machiavelli knew that most people want to believe in order. They want to think the world is fair, but it's not. The world is a chessboard, and most are pawns waiting to be sacrificed. He refused to be one of them. He chose to study the rules, even if they were dark, to learn how the powerful think, how they move, how they win without showing their hands. And by writing it all down, he became more dangerous than any king. He became a mirror to power itself. The question now isn't whether you agree with Machiavelli. It's whether you're willing to see. Because if you can see, truly see, you no longer walk into traps. You recognize the patterns. You see through the smiles. And you stop living like prey. The greatest power is the one that doesn't announce itself. It doesn't scream. It doesn't beg. It doesn't justify. It moves in silence. That's what Machiavelli wanted you to understand. Real power doesn't need validation. It just needs results. While others argue about fairness, you're already 3 steps ahead. While they react, you're already in control of the reaction. That's not magic. That's strategy. And once you see the game for what it is, you can never unsee it. He taught us, never let your enemies know what you're thinking. Keep your intentions hidden. Because the moment they understand your plan, they will try to break it. But if they're guessing, you're winning. And if they can't read your next move, you own the board. That's why the truly powerful speak less and observe more. They listen not to respond, but to analyze. They use silence as a weapon. They let others talk themselves into mistakes. And when they strike, it's not loud. It's final. This is what Machiavelli offered. Not comfort, not inspiration, but clarity. Brutal, necessary clarity. About how the world works, about how people think, and about what it really takes to survive in a world ruled by illusion. You can ignore these truths and stay blind, or you can face them and become dangerous. Dangerous, not because you want to hurt anyone, but because you'll never be controlled again. You'll see through the masks, through the manipulation. You'll play the game on your terms, quietly, strategically, effectively. That's what Machiavelli left us. Not a path to follow, but a lens to see through. And once you see it, everything changes.